Hello everybody, welcome back to the Pathfinder Grand Tournament. This is where I spin a wheel with every class in Pathfinder 2nd Edition and pair them up in teams of 2 to face off in a duel to the death. Every character is level 2. They had free selection for their key attributes and all start with battle medicine and normal equipment. Casters have the ability to use any spell they've already cast one additional time, just like a wizard can, to kind of simulate being able to use consumables, like having scrolls. I think that's all the rules. This is going to be our third episode here, and just as a reminder, this is all for fun. None of these builds are meant to be incredibly meta. The tactics that they are employing are not meant to be perfect. And because of both luck and low levels, this is not going to be indicative of how they'll play in an actual game. Anyway, let's get right into it by spinning our wheel to put our teams together today. So let's see who's going to be on Team 1. Looks like we're going to start out with our Alchemist. And who is our alchemist today? Our alchemist will be... Igor Lovchenko. This is our dwarven... Oh no, that's animist, not alchemist. Whoopsie. K. Kinsey, 94. Here we go. Our Minotaur alchemist. Slab Soul. Minotaur for the ability to kind of have a get off me, bring up some pillars and drop them down right around you. Chirurgeon with the Quick Bomber and Soothing Vials class feats. Alrighty. And as for the preparation, it looks like it's just a whole bunch of bombs ready for the day. Let's see who's going to be paired up with our alchemist today. Spin the wheel. The barbarian has finally been rolled, and our barbarian is going to be Axel Sauerwald. Axel is a cavern elf barbarian, wielding a gizarm as a blood rager, so with the ability to cast spells and to harvest blood after dealing damage against creatures not immune to bleed. Alrighty, with the sudden charge feat and a breastplate. Alrighty. Well, that's a pretty solid team lineup, so let's see who they're going to be going up against. Spinning our wheel, it's gonna be the Bard. Alright. Maybe the Barbarian won't be able to outright overpower the team by themselves. Where's our Bard? Grutz. This is our Automaton Bard with the Dragon Blood heritage, wielding a dueling spear and short bow as a warrior muse, with the Hymn of Healing class feat and a scaly hide to get some better armor class to be able to wield both of these. I think we'll probably start out with Grutz wielding the short bow. Make sure those arrows are lined up. Perfect. Now let's see who is going to be our Bard's companion. And this will solidify our final teams, and then we'll be able to get into the fight. Oh. Alright, well, with a cleric and a bard, they might be a little bit overloaded on support, but we'll see what they can get up to. I'll drag in our cleric. It's Cartvage, an Azarketi cleric, a battle, or a, yes, a battle harbinger cleric, in fact. with hydraulic deflection, and wielding a great sword in 2 hands with stacked up Bless and Bane. Alrighty. Well, I will remove the cleric from the wheel, and now I just have to set these 2 to be on the opposition real quick so that the auras and everything work properly. And we'll get into this fight. Alrighty. As for initiative, I'm going to be rolling all 4 of them, but then I will be pancaking the initiative. So teams will not be able to take 2 turns in a row. This is just to attempt to reduce variance without having to introduce something like best of 3 rounds or anything like that. That would make these videos take much, much longer. So I will begin the encounter tracker here. Add these 4 in and roll their initiatives. And it looks like Cartvage is going to take the lead here. And then K. Kinsey goes next, then Grutz, then Axel Sauerwald. It's already in a nice pancake order. Very, very nice. Let's begin this fight. Alrighty, so Cartvage, as our battle cleric, is gonna want to set up some, I would say, defensive measures first thing first. As a battle harbinger, trying to make your weapon more powerful to start off with is probably a solid bet, and then go into either Bane or Bless. With a Bard, probably go into Bane specifically so that you can make better use of stacking up your buffs. So 2 actions for Runic Weapon, which will affect the Greatsword. I should also do our free actions on initiative. Specifically, Axel Sauerwald is able to rage using Quick Tempered. And then that should also give temporary immunity. There we go. Alrighty. And then I don't believe anyone else had any free actions. Yes, so the first 2 actions on Cartvage will be getting that ready, and then bring up a shield just for some protective preparations. And the ability to react to shield block might come in handy as we move on to K. Kinsey 94. Alrighty, so as a chirurgeon alchemist, and particularly teamed up with a barbarian, providing like debuffing support from the back seems like it might be a good idea. But what would be a better idea would be to get some persistent damage set up right at the start here. So our alchemist is going to take a stride forward to here, kind of in the line of fire, getting so close, but being able to attack both of the foes without having to reach too far into their range is, or without suffering the range penalty here is a good idea. So, and then using Quick Bomber twice to both pull out and then throw an acid flask. Probably lead on the cleric because the cleric looks more physically imposing with a breastplate and big sword, as opposed to the bard, which is not wearing any armor and just has a bow drawn. So the acid flask, attempting to set up some persistent damage, will miss Cartvage and only do splash damage. And then use Quick Bomber to throw another one. An unfortunate double miss on the alchemist flasks will end K. Kinsey's turn here. We'll then move on to Grutz, who is going to, well, seeing a barbarian is never particularly enjoyable. So I think waiting for the barbarian to close the distance before casting Enfeeble would probably be the best bet. But setting up some high damage turns in the next round or so by casting Fear on Kay Kinsey, who will make a save and critically fail with a 2 on the die, becoming Frightened 3 and fleeing for a round. Quite unfortunate and quite good for Grutz here, who will then follow up with a arrow, which will still unfortunately miss despite the massive debuff that Grutz just managed to land. Perhaps some kind of fear effect, maybe all of the alchemy vials on Kay Kinsey, just a brief flash in their mind detonate, and cover them in all sorts of burning pustules. An incredible turn from Grutz here, even without relying on the Courageous Anthem or any sort of other Bard exclusive ability. Now we move on to Axel Sauerwald, who is going to get right into the thick of things with a 2-action sudden charge to run right up here, and using the reach that a Gizarm allows, and with the sudden charge allowing you to make a strike, they're going to strike at the spellcaster. That seems appropriate. A hit will deal 13 damage. I'm also going to have them make this as a stride and then a strike rather than a sudden charge, so that they can then use Harvest Blood after dealing this damage. Grutz will take that 13, knocking them down to half right away. And then the third action here from Axel Sauerwald will be Harvest Blood. If your last action was a successful piercing or slashing melee strike against a creature not immune to bleed, you can reduce the value of drained if you have it by 1, and gain temp HP, and a bonus to saving throws against that creature's spells for 1 minute, or until you harvest blood from another creature. So, some bonuses against Grut's spells here. We move on to round 2. Kartvej is not super pleased with seeing Grutz get injured so, and not being able to close this distance either to do damage is going to be difficult if they end up going for a 2-action heal. So I think Kartvej is going to go for a step, a 1-action heal on Grutz as they do so. 4 hit points is better than nothing. And then bringing down their greatsword on the barbarian here. But an unfortunate miss. Alrighty, we move on to Kay Kinsey, who has been frightened very, very badly and will spend the whole round running over here. There we go. We're back over to Grutz, and Kay Kinsey is no longer fleeing. Grutz is also not too pleased about taking an immense amount of damage. And so we'll cast Hymn of Healing on themselves. This heals you a little bit every round, as well as grants you some temporary hit points. And then the last action will be spent, we'll say, shooting at Axel. No, firing past at Kinsey, trying to bring down the alchemist while they're still weakened. Grutz appreciates Kartvej for getting in the way of Axel here, but their main target is still Kinsey. Continued misses all around are making them really struggle. Grutz takes a little bit of damage from the bleed that Axel set up as well. Alright, Axel here now. Well, not much to do other than try to bring someone down. But I'll say, for fun here, with Kartvej in the way, trying to engage this opponent, and having already drank the blood of Gruts to become more protected against their spells, I would say that Axel feels pretty confident in their ability to resist Gruts and is now going to try and take down the more martially capable warrior. Oh goodness. Critical hit from our barbarian here. A relatively low roll on the damage, however. An immense amount of damage to our cleric. A follow-up attack will miss, and then Axel will step back to try and waste some time from our team here. Back to the top of the round, Cartvage is bloodied and bleeding. They have to step in once again to close in on Axel. They will use a free action to release a hand off of their blade to then use the battle medicine action on themselves quickly. Oh, which will deal them 5 damage. They use their second action to regrip their blade and try to bring it down on Axel, but still reeling from the critical hit and the critical failure here, they will miss. And we move on as they bleed to K. Kinsey 94. Our alchemist is back in the game and is going to be moving up to here behind Axel, which will give Cartvage lesser cover as Kinsey throws a bomb, bottled lightning through to attempt to off guard. Critically missing, it will have no effect, and then another quick bomber attack will miss and deal 1 splash damage to Cartvage, and that will end Kinsey's turn. Gruts will heal at the start of their turn here, and I believe you would have to sustain it to gain temporary hit points. Alright, seeing Cartvage lowered, so spending 2 actions on a Hymn of Healing. Can only have 1 active at a time. Yes, so we'll end the Hymn of Healing on themselves, but bringing it over to Cartvage seems appropriate right now. And then Grut's next action, or last action, will be firing an arrow at Axel. But in the scuffle, that will be a miss. Recovering from the bleed, but still taking the damage, Axel is going to try to strike down Cartvage here, and will succeed with a hit as Cartvage goes down. Axel will then step over and take another strike at Gruts, but will miss. Oh, and with the initiative move, due to going down, we'll move over to Kinsey, who is going to quick bomb an acid flask first, after taking a stride forwards. There we are. Miss will only do 1 splash damage. And then a quick bomb with another bottled lightning will also miss and do 1 splash damage. And that will end Kinsey's turn. Their party, having not taken any damage, really, yet, Gruts is going to try to... Oh, goodness. Try to bring their teammate up, I think, at this point. A step, and then, because a bow is wielded with 1 open hand, just straight into a battle medicine attempt. Will fail, unfortunately, leaving Cartvage prone. And Grut's last action will be to shoot their short bow at point blank, which does finally manage to pierce through Axel's armor, just barely injuring them through their rage. Cartvage will heal at the beginning of their turn due to the fast healing. They will stand, pick up their blade, and attempt to strike down Axel, kind of hobbling. Hit will do some pretty immense damage here because of the runic weapon and large damage die, but that will end Cartvage's turn, who will then go right back down to dying because of the persistent bleed, which they do not recover from. Axel Sauerwald will strike, yes, we'll simply strike at Grutz here, and a critical hit will end the fight. And with that, our Bard and our Cleric are unfortunately eliminated. They did finally have a good run there at the end against our Barbarian, but Barbarian is an immensely challenging class to go up against. So, these two, Axel Sauerwald the Barbarian and K. Kinsey 94 the Alchemist, are going to move on to our next round. Congratulations on their success. Rest in peace to the Cleric and to our Bard. There we go. I forgot the word for a moment. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See ya. See ya. Leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe if you would like to see more, and toss me a few bucks on coffee if you would like to keep the channel running. Speaking of, thank you to my coffee supporters in my monthly few bucks support tier: Max Magnus 20,019, Streggy, Taran, Phoenix FH, and Kizo. Thank you so much.